Hello, welcome to my channel. Today in metrology and measurement, we are going to study the digital measurement. In previous video, you have already know the basic parts of the digital measurement. Now we are continuing the previous lesson with this one. Okay, so in our previous talk, we have already discussed about what is digital measurement and what is the importance of digital measurement nowadays. Then you have know that you got to know that there are different parts associated with any kind of digital instrument, and the parts are transducer, then signal modifier and display device, the basic parts. Okay, now we are going to discuss about these parts on this video, and later on we'll produce another video where we'll discuss all about this transducer, signal modifier and display device. So this is the basic part of any kind of digital instrument what you all need to know. Then we have already known about different terminologies associated with the digital instrument, which is very much important regarding the measurement of any physical phenomena using any kind of digital instrument. So number one is the drift, which is actually the slow change in response of a gauge. Then there is the resolution, which is actually the minimum change in input quantity, and there is threshold, which is the minimum input measured by an instrument. Then there is hysteresis, which is the difference between two separate measurements taken at same point, and there are some kind of dynamic characteristics. So based on all these things, we have made the video in our previous video, which actually clarify all of these points regarding any kind of digital instruments. Now in this video we are going to analyze about the sensor transducer part. Basically what I have said earlier in the previous video, that a digital measurement, there is a certain procedure, and in that procedure there are three main important criteria is associated. Number one is the sensing criteria, where sensor and transducer stage is associated. There is the next part after sensing, there is the signal conditioning stage, and after that the readout and recording stage is associated. So we will discuss all of these things one by one. So first of all we are going to discuss about the sensing element, that means the sensor transducer stage. So basically when we are going to talk about sensor, we will necessarily interplay between techniques and hardware used to sense the quantity we wish to measure every time during any kind of digital instrument, during the use of any kind of digital instrument. Okay, the technique and the hardware used to process the signal are actually generated by the sensors, and also the algorithms are there which actually process through this signal processing and conditioning stage, and after that we get the final result. Then we are we are dealing with the basic part, that is the primary part, that is the transducer, sensors and actuators. Okay, now in case of a sensor, you know that sensor means the element, a device which provides a usable output in response to a specified measurement. A sensor acquires a physical quantity and converts it into a signal which is actually suitable for processing. Now this kind of signal may be optical, electrical or mechanical, everything is possible. Now nowadays common sensor convert measurement of physical phenomena into an electrical signal, and active element of the sensor is actually called the transducer. And you must know that any kind of good sensor, they must obey some rules. That means it must be sensitive to the measurement property, then it is intensive to any other property likely to be encountered in its application, and it does not influence with the measurement property. So in case of a sensor, basically you can say that the Instrument Society of America, they define that as device which provides a usable output in response to a specific measurement, that is actually known as the sensor. Now in case of a transducer, Transducer is nothing but a device which converts energy from one form to another. The primary sensing element, sensor, is the first and foremost requirement for measurement and automatic controls. The sensor senses the condition, state or value, the process variable, and produce an output which reflects this condition. Okay. Then there is the transducer, which transforms the energy of the process variable to an output of some other type of energy which is able to operate some kind of control device. Sometimes a secondary transducer may be employed to transform the output of the primary sensor to still another type of energy. If I give you an example, it will be like in the ordinary dial indicator, the indicating spindle acts like a sensor or detector for displacement. It simply performs a function of sensor or detector and nothing else. But in case of a compressive load cell, or you can say in case of a Barden gauge tube, actually Barden gauge pressure tube, which is actually works as a twofold. Firstly is to sense the pressure, and secondly giving the resulting effect or output in form of displacement. Here the tube acts as a sensor or detector transducer. Okay, so this is, by this example you can easily understand what is one kind of a sensor. Now there is various mechanical actually in case of mechanical detector, there are various mechanical detector transducer elements may be discussed, but we are going to discuss about only 4, or the main 4, that is the number 1, elastic members of elements. Now elastic member of elements is nothing but which works only on the principle of direct tension or compression, bending and torsion. These are invariably used to change the force into displacement. Like if I give an example like proving ring, which is actually known for physical dimension and mechanical properties, an external tensile or compressive force is applied across the ring diameter, causes the distortion which is proportional to that force. That distortion is measured by means of a dial gauge and sensitive micrometer or a strain gauge. Then there is the elastic torsion member. When several types of torque meters make use of electric torsion members which twist in proportion to apply the torque, and deformation is used as a measure of torque. There is spring. In a spring type indicating an scale, unknown weight is applied to the free end of the spring, which actually cause the displacement and which is indicated by the pointer. So these are all dependent on the principle of direct tension or compression, bending and torsion, which actually indicates the elastic elements. The next one is the mass sensing elements. The inertia mass sensing element is the inertia of a concentrated mass, provides another basic mechanical detector transducer element which is used in the accelerometer and vibration pickups, and severe to the measure of the characteristics of a dynamic motion like displacement, velocity, acceleration, frequency, like these of things through different applications of Newton's second law of motion. Any simple mechanically vibrating member like pendulum would use as a time or would be used as a time or frequency transducer, chopping the passage of the time into discrete bits. Okay. Then there is the thermal detectors, which is a very common term nowadays. These are the devices employed to measure the temperature of solid, liquids and gas. They sense the temperature by employing different primary effects like change in physical state, then change in electrical properties, change in chemical state, change in radioactivity ability, like this. You can find these type of thermal detectors in different type of instruments like glass thermometer, pressure gauge thermometer, then bimetallic thermometers, resistance thermometer, thermistor, thermocouple. So you can find all of these things in case of a thermal detector. The last one is the hydropneumatic sensor, which is applied to either static condition or dynamic condition. In case of a static condition, simple float, you can give the example of a simple float which converts the fluid level into displacement. It makes no allowance for change in the density of the supporting liquid. Then you can give the example of hydrometer, which senses the specific gravity and converts it into displacement. it actually uses the immersion depth as a means for the detecting variation. If you talk about the dynamic conditions applied in case of a hydropneumatic detector, you can say that orifice and venturimeter, which are used for flow measurement in pipes and provide information in the form of pressure, change is a result of transformation of energy. Then there is pitot tube, which measures the pressure resulting from total flow rate rather than of change of rate. Then there is the vane in form of airfoils and turbine wheels, which are also used for sensing the fluid flow. Now we'll discuss deeply or thoroughly on about transducer. Now in case of a transducer, it is nothing but a device which converts energy from one form to another form. Now transducer, in case of a transducer, you can say that most of the transducer either convert electrical energy into mechanical displacement or you can say it converts a non-electrical physical quantity like force, sound, temperature to an electrical signal. A transducer also performs some functions as an electronic instrument system, like detects or sense the presence, magnitude and change in the physical quantity which are going to be measured. Then it provides a proportional electrical output signal. If you see the figure written over here or drawn over here, you will see that the input transducer actually takes the physical quantity value and transform it into the electrical signal. Now if I talk about the classification, we'll discuss the classification later. So in case of a transducer, there are some specific thing you must know, that inverse transducer. Now in case of inverse transducer, it is defined as a device which converts an electrical quantity into a non-electrical quantity. Okay, then it is a precision actuator which has an electrical input and a low pressure non-electrical output. Then you can say that a piezoelectric crystal acts as a inverse transducer. Now transducer and measurement system are not perfect system. Mechatronics design engineer must know that capability and shortcomings of a transducer or measurement system to properly assess its performance. There are a number of performance related parameters of a transducer or measurement system. These parameters are called transducer, or you can say sensor specification. So first specification is the range. The range of a sensor or transducer indicates the limit between which the input can vary. For example, if you say a thermocouple for a measurement of temperature might have a range of 25 to 225 degrees centigrade. Next, the second one is the span. The span is the difference between the maximum and minimum value of the input. Thus, the above mentioned thermocouple will have a span of 200 degrees centigrade, since it's a range. It has a range of 25 to 225 degrees centigrade. Then there is a third is the error. Error is the difference between the result of the measurement and the true value of the quantity being measured. You already know the all details about error. So we'll move to the accuracy. Now accuracy refers to the closeness of the agreement between the actual measurement of the result and true value of the measurement. You know this term already. Then sensitivity. Sensitivity of a sensor is defined as the ratio of change in output value of a sensor to the per unit change in input value that causes the output change. For example, if I say a general purpose thermocouple may have a sensitivity of 41 mu volt per degree centigrade. Okay. Then there is the non-linearity. The non-linearity indicates the maximum deviation of the actual measured curve of a sensor from the ideal curve. Non-linearity in case of a percentage, you can say as the ratio of maximum deviation in input to the maximum full scale input. Okay. Then there is hysteresis, what I have already discussed earlier. There is resolution, we have already discussed that, and there is stability. Stability is the ability of a transducer to give some output when used to measure a constant input over a period of time. Then there is the deadband or time. The deadband or dead space of a transducer is a range of input values for which there is no output. Then there is repeatability, what I have already discussed. Repeatability is the ability of a sensor to give the same output for repeated application of the same input value. The last one is the response time, which actually shows the speed of change in the output of a stepwise change of the measurement. It always specified with an indication of input step and the output range for which the response time is defined. Now the next thing is transducer sensitivity, which is a very important part. The relationship between the measurement and the transducer output signal is actually the transducer sensitivity, which is defined as the ratio of the output signal to the measurement increment. Then we are going to discuss about the classification of a transducer. Now in case of the classification, there are different classification available based on different segments. So broadly, this type of transducer, they can be classified into two groups, active transducer and passive transducer. Now in case of active transducer, it is actually known as self-generating type of transducer. That means this transducer can develop their own voltage or current. The energy required for production of an output signal is obtained from the physical phenomena which is being measured. Example is thermocouple, piezoelectric pickup, photovoltaic cell. In case of the passive transducer, apart from this active transducer, these passive transducer are externally powered transducer. That means it derives the power required for the energy conversion from an external source of power. However, they may absorb some energy from the physical phenomena under what we have already found, what you can find during various experimental study. Okay, in case of the example, there are resistance thermistors. So these are the active and passive transducer, which is very important. Then we can classify the transducer based on the output type. In case of output type, we can say there are two type of output we can avail. One is the analog output, another is the digital output. Now in case of analog transducer, this type of transducer convert the input physical phenomena into an analogous output, which is a continuous function of time, like strain gauge or thermocouple. In case of a digital transducer, it converts the input physical phenomena into an electrical output, which may be in form of a pulse. Then it can be classified on the basis of electrical principle type. That means number one is the variable resistance type, of which there are different examples like strain gauge, pressure gauge, thermistor. Then variable inductance type, there are LVDT, reluctance pickup, eddy current gauge. Then variable capacitance type, there are capacitor, microphone, pressure gauge, dielectric gauge. There is a voltage generating type, example is thermocouple, photovoltaic cell. Then there is the voltage divider type, example is potentiometer, pressure actuated voltage divider. Okay, now we are going to discuss about some specific transducer. So first we are going to discuss about the resistance transducer. Now, resistance transducer, this actually works on the method of transforming the physical quantities to the resistance. The process of variation of resistance is used in many industrial and other application, and you can see that different type of application like temperature measurement, displacement measurement, vibration and force. So there are different applications where this transformation occurs, and this type of resistance transducer works. In case of a resistance transducer, the resistance of the metal conductor is expressed by this formula, that is R equal to rho L by A, where R is the resistance, rho is the resistivity of the conductor material, L is the length of the conductor, and A is the cross-sectional area. Any method of varying one of these quantities involved in this relationship can be designed basis on an electrical resistance transducer. These are number of ways in which the resistance can be changed by a physical phenomena. Okay, The translation and rotational potentiometer, which works on the basis of the change in the value of resistance with change in length of the conductor, can be used for the measurement of translational or rotary displacement. Now we are going to solve a numerical problem, and we'll see how this type of problem can be solved. So the problem says a linear resistance potentiometer is 50 mm long and uniformly wound with wire having resistance of 10,000 ohm. Okay, under normal condition the slider is at the center of the potentiometer. Find the linear displacement when the resistance of the potentiometer is measured for two cases. One is 3850 and another is 7560 ohm. Find the resolution of the potentiometer and consider minimum resistance measured is 10 ohm. Okay, now we are going to solve the problem. So we are going to start solving the numerical problem. So as the problem says, so under normal condition, it is given that the slider is at center of the potentiometer. So it is given in the question. So that's why you need to find out the first that normal position, under normal position, resistance of the potentiometer. So resistance of the potentiometer, that will be, since it is at the slider at the center of the potentiometer, so resistance will be given, that is 10,000 by 2, that will be 5,000 ohm. Okay, so then you have to find out the resistance of the potentiometer where per unit length, that will be equal to 10,000 by 50, that is 200 ohm per minute. Okay, the next thing what you need to find out, that is changing resistance of the potentiometer from its normal position. So first case, the resistance found, that was 3350. Okay, so if I subtract it from the this value, we will get the potentiometer change in resistance. So change in resistance, that is 5,000 minus 3850, answer will be 1150 ohm. Okay, so displacement will be that will be 1150 divided by 200. Now this 200, what we have already find out, that the wire potentiometer, this one, potential resistance of the potentiometer wire per unit length. Okay, so distance will be 5.75 mm. Then we have got the minimum resistance. Now the maximum resistance what we have found, that is 7650. Okay, sorry, 7560. So change opposite. This is for the one direction. We have found out for the opposite direction. For opposite direction, this will be change in resistance, that is 7560 minus 5,000. So answer will be 2560 ohm. Okay, then displacement, that will be 2560 by 200, 12.8 mm. So this is one displacement in one direction and another displacement in opposite direction. So resolution of the potentiometer will be that is the minimum measurable resistance. Now what will be the minimum measurable resistance? Now minimum measurable resistance is given at 10 ohm. Okay, so if that is 10 ohm, so the answer will be 10 by the total distance traveled, that is the 200. That means that will be equal to resistance of the potentiometer wire per unit length, and that will be equal to 0.05 mm. So this is the this is the final answer of the resolution of the potentiometer. Okay. Now we are going to talk about the thermistor and thermistor or resistance thermometer. Okay. Now thermistor is a type of resistor which resistance is dependent on the temperature more so than the standard resistors. This is a combination of word thermal and resistor. Thermistors are widely used for inrush current limiters, temperature sensors, self-resetting over current protectors, self-regulating heating elements, like these of things. These thermistors are two opposite fundamental types. One is the NTC thermistors. NTC thermistor means negative temperature coefficient thermistor, where the resistance decreases as temperature rises, and NTC is commonly used as a temperature sensor or in series with a circuit as an inrush current limiter. There is the positive, and another one is the positive temperature coefficient or PTC type, which where the resistance increases as temperature rises. These are commonly installed in series with a circuit and used to protect against overcurrent conditions. These thermistors are generally produced using powered metal oxides. With vastly improved formulas and techniques over last 20 years, NTC thermistor now can achieve accuracy over wide temperature range like plus minus of 0.1 degree centigrade to plus minus of 0.2 degree centigrade, from 0 degree to 70 degree centigrade with excellent long-term stability. Again, you can say that typical NTC thermistors, they have a certain range of minus 55 degrees centigrade to 150 degrees centigrade. Though some glass body thermistors have maximum operating temperature of plus 300 degrees centigrade. Okay. Then there are some resistance temperature detectors, RTD, which in that the material used in a thermistor is generally a ceramic or polymer, while RTD is pure metallic. Okay, the temperature response is also different from this normal thermistor. RTD are useful over large temperature range, while thermistor typically achieve a greater precision with a limited temperature range. Okay. Now, in case of a basic operation, you can know that there is a certain relationship between resistance and temperature, and that is a linear, what you can see in the curve given on the bottom left side, and the equation is del R equal to K into del T, where K is the first order temperature coefficient of resistance. Now this thermistor that can be classified into two types depending on the sign of K. Okay. Now in case of the thermistor, they are composed of sintered mixture of metallic oxides, which helps to form this type of thermistors. Now application of these thermistors is basically the major application is the measurement of temperature, then temperature compensation in a complex electronics equipment, magnetic amplifiers, then measurement of power as high frequency, then vacuum measurement and measurement of level, flow and pressure of the liquids, then measurement of a thermal conductivity. Now we are going, now you can see there are some circuit symbol is given by which different drawings are being made. Okay, Now we are going to solve a numerical problem based on thermistor. Now we'll see how this problem is being solved. This problem is a very short and simple problem. So first we need to write down what is the given data. Okay, so first we have to find out, that is what is the resistance temperature coefficient. The coefficient is given, coefficient resistance temperature coefficient, which is actually given by alpha, that is given as -5%. So it will be 0.05. Okay, -5%, it will be 0.05 in negative. It will be minus 0.05. Okay, it will be minus 0.05. Then what are the given data? Again, the temperature is given, that is 25 degree, range 25 degree and 50 degree, and you have to find out the resistance at 35 degree. So final resistance, that is final resistance at 35 degree, you need to find out, and initial temperature range, initial temperature, that is 25 degree, and it is also given the resistance of the thermistor is 100 watt at 25 degree, resistance is 100 watt. Okay, now you have to find out what is the resistance of the thermistor at 35 degree centigrade. So R35, that is equal to R25 1 plus alpha 35 minus 25. So by solving it will be 100, 1 plus alpha is minus 0.05 into 10. So answer will be 50. Okay. Coming to the summary, you know that we have talked detailed about the sensor and transducer mostly. So sensor is nothing but an element which actually produces the signal relating quantity being measured. Transducer is a device which actually converts energy from one form to another form. Basically 4 types of mechanical detector transducer elements are available, and all 4 are used for different type of converting of the physical quantity to the electrical quantity. Now transducer can be classified in several ways, like active, passive, or based on the output type, like digital transducer or analog transducer. Then based on the electrical principle type, like variable resistance, variable inductance, variable capacitance, voltage generating, voltage divider. So there are different classifications available. Then we have discussed about the resistance transducer, which actually converts the physical quantity into resistance. And lastly, we have discussed about the thermistor, which actually convert the electrical resistance, which depends on the variation in temperature. On our next video, we will discuss about inductance transducer. We will also discuss about the LVDT, and so on. We will discuss more about the different parts of the any kind of digital measuring instrument. So thank you for watching this video. Please tell me, or please ask me if you have any question in mind regarding this video. Please like and share this video. Also subscribe my channel for getting regular update. Thank you.